Happy May the 1st, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. If you're new around here, go and check that subscribe button out. We're 5 months into the year. Why haven't you subscribed already? We bring you all the latest and greatest news over the past 24 hours, plus for the cryptocurrency space, all the relevant news, and of course relate that to the broader markets and look at where the cryptocurrency market finds itself. Got a really interesting video today in this daily because we're going to be covering the huge news over the past 24 hours, which was that Ripple put in, I think it was about a $4 or $5 billion offer to buy Circle, who is set to IPO. Now, I said that was a bit of a low ball to the Patrons last night. However, what this is going to do is reintroduce what we believe the evolution of money is going to be. And the companies or the cryptocurrencies and companies that enable that are going to be worth hundreds of billions, potentially trillions of dollars in regards to the cryptocurrencies that enable that, coins like XLM and XRP. So we are going to start the video off there. We'll look at a clip of Jeremy O'Leary talking about the new money layer on the internet and the tremendous opportunity that it is. This is, of course, from when he was speaking alongside Ray Dalio. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about stablecoins because they really are the evolution of money. I've got an interesting clip of Jensen, NVIDIA's CEO, talking about the future of manufacturing also towards the end of the video. We kind of laughed when America was talking, or Trump's trying to induce manufacturing in America. And there was all those kind of memes going around of like kind of American slave labor, if you will, and kind of factory workers. And we said, I think people have kind of got this a little bit wrong. It's not about cheap labor anymore, more about technology, and there's a kind of manufacturing renaissance taking place with things like AI and robotics. I have some IoT plays that I think will do very well eventually. It's a world filled with opportunities right now, guys, and truly we don't want anybody to miss them. That's why this channel solely exists, so that you guys can get an insight perhaps into the markets. And then we'll talk about some price action. I am exceptionally confident that crypto is about to embark on its next leg based on what we're seeing technically across the board in the form of falling wedges. Become a Patreon now, guys. You're going to get the falling wedge course for free when it's released at the end of this week. And you'll have the same confidence I do when you look at these markets. But enough of the shameless promotion. Happy May the 1st. I can't believe we're 5 months into the year already. It's like dog years in crypto. There's been so much that's gone on over the past 4 months. It kind of feels like it's already been a few years already. Let's dive into the big news over the past 24 hours. Ripple is said to have offered to buy stablecoin rival Circle. This is interesting. Ripple proposed a takeover of Circle's Intern Group Incorporated for $4 billion to $5 billion, but the bid was rejected as too low. I believe so as well. These Circle are about to IPO. One of the best traits you can have as an investor, and worst, is an imagination. You need to imagine, and we do it on this channel, what the future of money looks like. The future of money is enabled by cryptocurrencies in the same way that the money that we now use was enabled by the internet. And the one before that was enabled by technology like the printing press or being able to mint coinage. You know, this is the evolution of money, literally. And the reason being is because it takes us from sending an email or sending a letter to an email. Let's continue to read on. Circle is focused on following through on its initial public offering it filed for earlier this month, and Ripple hasn't decided whether to make another offer. Ripple launched its RL USD stablecoin in December, which has a market valuation of $316.9 million compared to Circle's USDC market cap with a valuation of $61.7 billion. Circle are the premier United States issuer of stablecoins, and they are working with everyone, also alongside Ripple with the likes of the CFTC, etc., etc. I want to just put the camera back on me a second. Money itself is evolving, and the cryptocurrency / companies that enable that are going to make you rich. Now, we've got big plays on that. We're now looking at smaller companies, few $100 million cryptos, I should say, not necessarily companies that are leveraging the protocols that I believe are going to enable this internet of value to essentially find product market fit in the same way that PayPal and others did. We'll talk about this in more detail. I think there's some real sort of gems out there that are a play on all of this. Ripple has proposed a takeover of rival stablecoin provider Circle Internet Group Incorporated for $4 billion. The bid was rejected as too low, according to people familiar with the matter. While Ripple remains interested in Circle, it hasn't decided whether to make another offer, said the people who asked not to be identified because the details aren't public. For this part, Circle is focused on following through with its initial public offering that was filed earlier this month. We do not comment on market rumors, a spokesperson from Circle said in an email statement. As we are currently in a quiet period with the SEC, we cannot comment further on our company's financial plans. Our long-term goals remain the same. A representative from Ripple declined to comment. The offer comes as crypto deal-making accelerates following a run-up in digital token values, which has surpassed or spurred several players to ramp up their IPO plans. Circle, BitGo Incorporated, Gemini, and Bullish Global have all decided to consider going public. Ripple have, of course, denied that they are going to go public this year. They said it didn't really make sense. They don't really need funding, which is true. And there's kind of two main plays really here for stable coins in the United States. Circle is one, and I think Ripple as a company are the other. I think there will be more. You know, PayPal have their own stable coin. That could be an interesting stock on the back end of the evolution of money. But this is interesting. This was obviously breaking over the past 24 hours. There's all sorts of speculation. You know, Forbes here, why Ripple's $5 billion offer could be more or was more than a power play. And it talks about a number of things. But Circle's going to be huge. USDC is already huge, second largest stablecoin in the world. Stablecoins are only going to grow. I think it was Citi citing them to get to $3 trillion. Look at the correlation between stablecoin market cap and the crypto space. That's bullish for crypto, I believe. There's a correlation between stablecoins going up and crypto going up. It's also creation of new money. I think stablecoins now equate for about 1% of global M2. Not global M2, US M2. Stablecoin volume, stablecoin transaction volumes hit 1.8 trillion last month, a record. And organic, non-speculative uses appears to be growing, even as crypto trading volumes fluctuate. Still, it's easy to underestimate the promise of stablecoins. Absolutely. And everybody is. People aren't looking at stablecoins right now and going, that's a major opportunity. Because they go, well, hang on, a stablecoin's pegged to $1. Don't look at the don't buy the bloody stablecoin, for goodness sake. Buy the cryptocurrencies that are enabling the stablecoins. This is a huge opportunity, guys. Massive. This is the evolution of money we're talking about here. I don't see anybody else talking about this. People talking about the individual cryptos becoming currencies. That's not going to happen. The US dollar, it's ironic as hell that this industry came out as a combatant of fiat systems and is actually enabling them to more of a degree. And I'm a milkshake theory guy in the sense that I think the dollar reigns supreme. People always talk about the debt collapse. You think they're going to collapse the debt? Really? When they have the tools to not? Why would they do that? They don't need to collapse the debt to control everyone. You're already controlled. You're already living in their reality that they want you to see. That they've put things in place for you to believe in. They don't need to collapse the debt to control you and to level everybody off. It's already happening. A bit of a side note there, an ominous one. Also, Visa, we had news from MasterCard, says 50% of global e-commerce transactions are now tokenized. Tokenization is powering billions of tap-to-pay transactions globally. This is only going to accelerate. Huge opportunities. We've got to find the cryptocurrencies that are enabling all this. Let's play a quick clip of Jeremy O'Leary, who was with Ray Dalio. And let's hear what he has to say about stablecoins broadly. And this all makes sense, I think, on the back end of all of this.
We believe that we can help distribute digital dollars globally and actually create ongoing demand for U.S. Treasury bonds as well, creating a safe instrument that's there. Now, this is sort of, you could pick your time frame as to like how long is this going to be the monetary order, and I think as Ray and I were talking about beforehand, right, these arcs are multi-decade arcs, and sort of what the system looks like 10 years from now or 20 years from now is absolutely going to look very different. But right now, the United States needs to improve the competitiveness and demand for dollars. It needs to improve the technology competitiveness, and stablecoins as a new form of money, a new money layer on the internet, is a tremendous opportunity to continue to drive the influence of the dollar economic system.
This, and we know this. Scott Besson, David Sachs, they've all came out and said we're going to use and utilize stablecoins. The US government is going all in on this. Why? Because it furthers their agenda. I could actually see the dollar, and they might change the name to not the United States dollar, but the world dollar. The dollar being the currency that's used in a kind of more global system. I can see that. Dollar's not going anywhere. And go and look at Brent Johnson's dollar milkshake theory. Stablecoins, I think, only accelerate that through ease of use. Let's talk about crypto before we talk about something a little bit non-related, but related in regards to fears people have in regards to US manufacturing. But let's talk about sort of the crypto space technically. You guys know exactly what I think. I am confident that we're getting this next leg for the cryptocurrency space. It's already begun for Bitcoin. We've broken out of that falling wedge. We've got falling wedges across the board. As somebody that studied falling wedges, and how I approach traditional technical patterns like a falling wedge is scientifically, I look for a set of criteria that gives a desired outcome. So I look for specific elements to throw into the test tube to give me the result that I want. And I know that when I do that experiment, or when that experiment takes place, providing that those ingredients that go into it are the same, I'm going to get 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, the desired response or the desired result. Even in science experiments, it could be a bit of dust in the test tube, whatever it is. Sometimes things don't go right. Technical analysis isn't a silver bullet, but it helps you in regards to being right. And we identified this falling wedge for Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin across the board. All you've done here is run into resistance. And I think you're going to just build your way up here. This will be short-lived, and you'll just continue to the upside, likely taking the sort of, I think you're going to get to 116K before the second half of the year, which isn't a huge call, but a good one. And we looked at, obviously, the likes of MicroStrategy. Lots of stocks out there related to crypto that look great. Obviously, the crypto products look good. And so do individual altcoins. When it walks, talks, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. What I want to do now is just an interesting thing, whilst we've got a little bit of time, is look at what NVIDIA announced their $500 billion investment in AI. And we kind of laughed. Everyone was really clowning the US for saying that they want to manufacture things. And rightfully so. There's a lot of uncertainty being introduced in the United States. And they kind of gave these memes of like American people working in like sweatshops and stuff like that. And I always thought that's kind of hilarious, because that's not how they're going to do things with the technology that we have today. Things are going to become, and we're already seeing smart factories, they're piloted already across the board. Smart factories are going to become more and more of a thing. Manufacturing is going to be technologically induced. And many of you probably work in the manufacturing industry, and you're going to be saying to me, Rupert, what are you talking about, mate? You can't physically do this yet with a robot. That's true in certain cases. So there are of course things that can't be done robotically and technologically, but you're going to see in manufacturing a renaissance similar to the agricultural revolution, and it's going to be headed by the likes of AI and robotics and IoT. And Jensen had something to say on this, and then we'll wrap the video up. I'm far more bullish on Trump's America than I think most people are. We get a lot of hate for it. It's not about politics necessarily. This, in my opinion, how I'm viewing this, and you know, all of his political policies, for me, it's more about economically. I can actually see him being successful with what he's doing, and I think he's been chosen for this job. Let's go ahead and play what Jensen had to say, or a short clip of it.
NVIDIA's technology, the next generation of that, all here in the United States. Without the president's leadership, his policies, his support, and very importantly, his strong encouragement. And I mean his strong encouragement. Frankly, manufacturing in the United States wouldn't have accelerated to this pace. Manufacturing isn't about low-cost labor anymore. Manufacturing is about technology. And most of the factories that build these systems today are the most advanced factories in the future. And we're going to use artificial intelligence and robotics and omniverse digital twin technology to make it possible for us to create the factories of the future. And we ought to build it. We ought to build it right here. The really amazing thing is that this computer is the engine of a whole new industry. And this new industry is called artificial intelligence. And this new industry is a manufacturing industry in itself. That's a factory machine. Just as several hundred years ago, the dynamo was invented, water would come in and electricity would come out. Now electricity goes into this machine and incredible tokens come out, artificial intelligence. In order for this industry to thrive, we need to build these systems, of course, but we also need a progressive growth and industry-oriented energy policy, which this president has really put his weight behind. I really appreciate that. Without energy, we can't possibly have new growth industries.
So I'll leave that there. Just a short one. I didn't want to play the whole thing. I'm also bullish on what he's doing for oil. I think oil is going to come down. We've been short oil for a while now, and it's doing rather well. WTI crude oil, we've been very public about that. Do you know, it's weird. Even though I'm very conspiratorial minded, and that can paint a very dark picture of the world, I'm becoming more and more of an optimist as the days grow. And not just in regards to what's happening in America, but more generally as an investor, as a marketer. There's so much opportunity out there right now. You need to spot that. We're highlighting and have highlighted, and we looked at the sort of stablecoin wars, if you will, that stablecoins are the evolution of money. There's a major opportunity there, just like there was with the internet. And actually, if you do some digging, the people that enable the internet money, like the PayPals, the Stripes, the this, that, the other, they're often early investors or the first investors in some cases, founders of certain cryptocurrencies that we all know today, and are on the boards, etc., still to this day. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Have a fantastic May the 1st, and I'll see you all in the next one.